Hi everybody, welcome to another episode of Painting Happy Little Minis. I'm Dave.
I'm Mia.
And today we are going to be painting some, well, right behind the Painting Happy Little Minis logo, there it is. We're going to be painting some dragons. Not all of the dragons, but we're going to get a start on them anyway. But these are some very cool new dragon models. Well, I say new, they're upcoming dragon models from Wizkids. From there, I think the Nolz's Marvelous Minis. My bad. Nolz's Marvelous Minis line. Oh, it's all written down here. I feel so bad. But this is a first look at them. Pretty excited. We've got 4 of them here. These are all sort of pre-production minis, so we can get them in our hot little hands and get them painted. So, Mia, you've got a very cool sort of swooping one there.
Yep, he's kind of flying down, swooping in, all crazy like.
Definitely neat. I've got this guy here. Basically, it looks like he's sort of hovering, just getting ready to blast people with his breath weapon.
Mm-hmm. I love how he looks really like weighty.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, super solid there. There's kind of a little bit of a How to Train Your Dragon kind of weightiness to it. Like the physics on this might not work, but the magic keeps him in the air. And then on the spinner, we have this cool guy. And no, do we have a camera on the spinner? No. Okay. But as he spins back, no? Okay. I'll hold him up here. This one's quite cool. He's coming. It looks like he's coming into land, and the head on him has got a very much like a Balrog kind of feel to it. So I thought that was awesome. I think this would probably, if I wanted to go and paint this, spray it black first and then touch some of the bits and pieces. And then this guy here is very proud, kind of a, for some reason, a very knightly paladin kind of feel.
Yeah.
And
majestic.
Majestic.
Very
yes,
majestic.
Very majestic. And I have, I think I want to paint him red or yellow or something like that.
All right.
That'd be neat. Put him on the spinner there.
All right. All right. And in the Facebook chat, we've got Steve and Chris. Walter says hi.
Hey, everybody.
Let's see. Jason is here. And so, yeah, interact with us on the chat. I'm trying to keep up with that. And we've also got some people in the chat elsewhere as well.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got Gary. Hey, Gary. Hey, Kat. They are very nice looking dragons.
What I like is each of the stands is made for each individual dragon, so they don't interchange. They're made specifically for each dragon to give them that look.
I'm going to show you under the close cam. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so under there you can see on the underside. Oh, there we go. Moving forward. It's been keyed a certain way, and so has the tip of the stand, so it fits in. There's only one way it can go, which is quite neat. But yeah, very cool stuff. So I'm going to take those off and we'll get started. There we go. So which colors are you going for?
So I'm going to do purple dragon with green on the wings. I wanted to do something a little bit more, I don't know, crazy colored.
Okay.
I think my last dragon I did was red, so I was like, I should do something kind of fun.
Yep. Well, I'm going to do a green dragon. I think I might have done a green dragon before on the show. Yes? Yep. Blue? Have I done blue before?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We're going to have like a rainbow dragon army.
I just know I want to do green on it because I can take a similar approach to what I did on my the Professor McGonagall that I painted up for Harry Potter. I popped that up in the Painting Happy Little Minis group on Friday, and some folks were pretty happy with how she turned out. So I thought I could talk about how I did that. And essentially, it's the same way as you see me doing it here. Had the white prime first, and then not quite a wash, but a thin down coat
that.
of the Vallejo dark green there. Oh, and we've got her here. Here she is.
Those look so
Awesome.
good.
This was so quick to paint. It was incredible.
What?
Yeah. I know, I surprised myself. I surprised myself when I was painting it. I thought it would take me a lot longer. But the so I did the zenithal prime with the white. So I had the black underneath and then the white. So a lot of the shading down there is actually from the primer coat.
Oh, okay.
And then, yeah, again, just took this the dark green. I didn't thin it down too much to start with, and it just flowed in really nicely.
Yeah, now that you just told me that idea of watering it down, that just made this go so much faster with the purple.
Yep. So, yeah, just really worked out
This is
very
why I
well.
like painting with you, Dave. I figure out where I was a noob and learn better ways to do things.
What you can try next. Yep. But to be honest, I wasn't expecting that. The dark green, Vallejo dark green, turned out to be a little bit lighter than I originally projected. Oh, there we go. Hooray! Thank you. Yeah, it turned out to be lighter than I originally thought. So.
Ooh, someone suggested Rob suggested black dragon with bright green highlights.
Ooh,
Ooh, that would be kind of cool.
that could be neat.
Ooh, if you used, what was that green that they did for like the ghostly kind of stuff, like spectral?
All right, yep, the night haunt. Yeah,
That would be really cool.
that could be great. Yeah. We did actually talk about the idea of maybe just doing an entirely black dragon with
Yeah.
red eyes, glowing red eyes. But we didn't have any black spray handy. And neither of us wanted to paint an entire dragon black. So, or at least hand paint an entire dragon black.
Yeah, I learned my lesson with that red dragon that I did.
Yeah.
And as I continued to pour more and more red paint on it, I was like, wow, I really should have just spray painted this thing red to start with. I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah. Next time.
Now we know.
Yeah. Well, the cool thing is that, so the Army Painter have a range of great colored sprays that actually match directly to their paints. So there's a great color match. And Vallejo have just released a whole bunch of cool hobby sprays as well. I think there's like 20 different colors in the
Okay.
range. But
Oh.
again, formulated for minis.
I like things that make painting go faster and easier.
Yeah.
Ooh, Jason is 3D printing a dragon right now.
Oh, wow.
That's really cool.
Is it about the same size, Jason, or the same size as these? Or is it a bigger dragon?
I love that that's a thing now. You can just like 3D print and
Yeah.
make miniatures.
So a lot of folks doing it for their, like, to get specific sort of hero characters. So companies like Hero Forge do the ones where you can pick your different components and build your own character
Oh, that's cool.
kind of thing. I think we've had some of those painted and popped in the Facebook group.
Can you imagine the
Usually-
days when everyone has like a 3D printer? Kinda like we have printers now, and it's like, oh, okay, I want to get this, Wizkids thing, and then Wizkids just, instead of having to go to the store, they send you the file and you print it out. You can print out, or you can get them from the store, or, I mean,
Yeah.
I think I'd still want the packaging though.
Right.
See,
Yeah.
I think I'd still want the cool Wizkids and everything packaging.
There's a
but-
collectability sort of
Yeah, but that would
aspect
be
to it.
cool.
But I like the idea of. I love stores. I love going into stores
Yeah.
and being able to wander around and browse and pick things off the shelf. So, for me, I'm still a little bit uncertain about where it all might go. Obviously, in however many 100 years, we've got replicators.
Oh gosh.
I mean, you just say Wizkids Dragon Green, and it'll appear. But until then,
Yeah, I think I'd still
Okay.
like want all the like packaging and all the like cool stuff that comes inside of it.
Right.
But one day, there's just so many things you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Have you messed around with much of it for prop making and that kind of
I
thing?
haven't yet, just because I don't know how to like 3D model anything.
Okay.
And I'm just kind of intimidated by 3D printers.
Right. I think there's a fairly steep learning curve
Yeah. I think that's the hard part.
involved with them. So yeah, if you're going to do it, you need to sort of take it on as another hobby.
And so he says he's doing a huge sized one that he's having to do in pieces.
Right. Yeah. No doubt.
I think for me it's the time.
The time.
For me it's the time that it takes.
Right.
It takes forever.
Oh,
Yeah.
to print stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
to print something. Like when you go into a store, you just buy it.
That's true too, yeah.
This is true. This is true. As I said, at the moment, I think it's still it's something you have to dedicate time to as a hobby. So it's not just a part of the hobby; it's its own hobby in itself.
I'm learning so much about this culture.
Yeah. But yes, I'm certainly a child of convenience. But the thing I'm excited about with these as well is that they're so detailed.
Mm-hmm.
There's that wonderful texture on the skin, that scale texture on the skin there. This one here, I don't know if we can quite see it. It's don't have to put anything behind it, but it's got these huge ears, which kind of give it like a bat-like
Oh, yeah.
appearance. Or, as you were saying earlier, it's kind of got a bit of a kaiju feel.
Mm-hmm. I was like seeing some Pacific Rim
Yeah,
kaiju in there.
I think that'd be great. Very nice. What have we got?
Let's see.
Oh,
Sorry,
Gary,
internet isn't
Gary, when you're saying the
connecting
copper dragon, you said it looks like a copper dragon. Do you mean the one that's on the spinner? I could see that as a copper dragon for sure. Morgan asks, is anyone doing Smaug? No, nobody's painting Smaug today. I've painted a Smaug before. The big one from Forge World, from Games Workshop's Forge World. That was an amazing undertaking.
Oh, wow.
It was so huge. It's probably the base that it sits on, probably this sort of size. And big swirling looping tail. I think if it had all been stretched out, it would have been like this big.
That's not a miniature. That's not a miniature. There's got to be like
it's a
new
bigature,
word
yeah.
for like a miniature. That's
Bigature.
a bigature.
Bigature, yeah. But yeah.
Let's see. So Jason was saying that his dragon is a 30-hour print total.
Oh, geez. Yep.
But he has it printing while he's painting a bunch of dungeon tiles. So
Right. Excellent.
gotta be productive and do something.
Excellent. Obviously, we're a little bit slow. Oh, Gary says yes to the copper dragon. Yeah, I think I can see that as a copper dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That'd be good. Morgan Reynolds asks, when will we have more Warhammer? I'm not sure. Not sure, Morgan. I think today, actually, no, I think it's probably next week that Rick and I will be talking over our next sort of month or so schedule. But yeah, we haven't nailed down exactly when we're doing any more 40K or anything from GW. I think we have some cool stuff that we can paint from them, but nothing set in stone yet. And cool. And Jacob Vonk says, good evening all. Good evening, Jacob.
Let's see.
There we go. It's gonna
Wow,
be
so
around.
there's a discussion going on right now about 3D printing and kind of the costs and the time. So you've got Paul saying, surely though, once you factor in the time, cost of filament, and electricity, it's got to be cheaper and easier to buy a model And so he was considering a 3D printer, but he's kind of looking at the time and the costs versus just buying the models.
I think the that for the moment, and there is the time that it spends on the printer, but I think unless you're having to sit there and watch it the whole time, you're not spending your time on it.
I suppose.
So it's it might be a 30-hour print, but you only have to spend like half an hour over that 30 hours. It might be that sort of thing. I'm not sure.
Don't you have to like keep an eye? See, I don't know about 3D printing. I thought you had to like keep an eye on it and make sure it didn't screw up or something.
Yeah. I think from my from what I've seen, once you get to a certain stage or a certain level of expertise, you can get most of the settings so that your failure rate is pretty low.
Okay. My luck, I'd come back 30 hours later and I've made a pile of plastic.
An enormous. It will have filled the cage and everything.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, I'd probably do that too. But I think after you do.
Yeah, exactly.
Best blob ever. But I guess the advantage of it is that the things you create might be relatively unique. Whereas things you're going to buy in a store are going to be mass-produced and not as unique. So depending on what you're doing with it, it has benefits and drawbacks.
Yeah. Good gosh, I have 9 3D printers for dungeon tiles.
Oh, wow.
And minis, and it's way easier to use.
Who's saying
Good
that?
gosh, Timothy. That's a lot of 3D printers.
That is. So either that's Timothy's other hobby.
Collecting 3D printers.
It could be, yeah. Or, well, that's Timothy's business.
Oh, that's true.
There's a possibility there. The guys at Foreground actually are, they had a whole bunch of minis sculpted for their upcoming game, Legends of the Fabled Realms. And they went through all the usual sort of processes. They had them sculpted, they had them printed. They worked with a plastics manufacturer to see if they wanted to make them in plastic. And they weren't particularly happy with the results that they were getting. So in the end, they were getting into 3D printing, and they really pushed their 3D printers to the limit and that sort of thing, and worked on some proprietary mixes of resin. And now their production miniatures are 3D printed on high-end resin printers.
Oh, wow.
So they're ones where you have the resin bath and the laser shoots in there and hardens the resin.
That's so crazy what we can like 3D print with nowadays.
Yeah.
What was it that they have like a 3D printer that can print a house?
Yeah, yep. Out of concrete. Yep.
That's crazy.
That's the sort of application that I think is really exciting. That and things like having a 3D printer on the International Space Station.
I think I saw one where it was like they could 3D print a heart.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Last year when we went down to the Science, Technology, Engineering and Math fair down in DC, there was a company there that was showing off their some of the stuff that they were printing, and they were printing ears that could be
That's so great.
sort of stitched on.
We've gone from growing them on
people's head.
mice to just printing them out now.
Yep. Saves the mice.
Yeah.
They
I
don't
just
have to have
remember that.
an ear sticking on
Yeah.
the back, sitting on the back of a mouse.
I remember when they first did that, and that poor mouse has a giant ear on its back, and I was like, "Aw,
Yeah.
taking one for the team." How's your green going?
It's going well. I think I've got, now I get to go around and have a look and see where all the little bits that I missed. But, yeah, it looks a little bit messy on the camera there. But a lot of that will be tidied up when I get into the, what do you call it? Painting the membranes and the underbelly.
I was going to say, that's what mine usually looks like anyways.
How's it looking? Oh, you've moved on to your second color. Oh my goodness. I'm way behind. I think
Do you have a printer now that prints chocolate? What?
Prints chocolate? Mm-hmm. I think for that you'll see my head right underneath there.
Yeah.
Right.
And see, Timothy says, I still buy Reaper and Wizkids minis. It just seems you can never get enough.
Oh, yeah. Agreed. Okay, I'm going to let that guy dry for a little bit.
See, my problem is I go into miniature stores and I want all of them.
Right. That's not just unique to you.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
But I don't even really play things with miniatures. I'm just like, I just want them. I just want to paint them and then put them in my room and be like, I made this.
Yeah. That's good. Now that Gary said copper, I'm thinking that maybe I should... Oh, there we go. Give that a go on this guy. Boink.
Let's see.
Should I try that?
Copper?
Yeah. Should I try copper on this one?
Oh, that would be cool.
Ask the Jack.
Well, I didn't...
Let's see, my
I was
copper
gonna check with you,
dragon has a
Leona.
gnome riding on it.
Oh, yeah, Gary's copper dragon has no. Excellent. Kat says, random question, your paint dries so quickly. How warm is the studio? It's probably...
It is 70 degrees over here.
70 degrees? Is that what the thermostat says?
Yes.
Under the lights, it feels a little bit
Yeah.
warmer. But,
I would say it's like 73 probably.
okay. Yeah, let's go with 73.
It's a good temperature for me, which means it's probably too warm for most people.
But,
Yeah, it is warm.
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. This
It's
feels
quite warm.
lovely.
It's lovely.
But then again, I'm that person that my fiance leaves for work and then I turn the thermostat up like 6 degrees.
Right.
And then an hour before he comes home, I turn it back down. I don't know what you're talking about.
That's funny.
Temperature's been on the same degree the whole time.
Yep. So on this one, I got to hit it first with the tinny tin.
Mini painting studios. Dave is hot.
Nah. Thanks, Josh. All good. Actually, this one's really interesting. It's got the wing membranes. Normally there might be like a little attachment sort of in this area, but this membrane goes all the way, almost all the way down. It does go all the way down to the end of the tail. So that's kind of crazy.
Well, what's cool is each one of the dragons, the wing membranes are different.
Yep.
So like this one's kind of got like a pebbled look to it, kind of like the actual skin.
Yep.
And then this one is somewhat smooth and striped, and then that other one is really smooth. That one that you were painting green.
the green one. It smooth there.
So each dragon is very unique.
Yep.
Which was part of my like trying to figure out which one to paint. I was like, which one's going to be less of a pain in the butt?
Well, the great thing, the membrane you've got on there. Oh.
What did we do?
That's the that's the temperature alarm going off. Too warm in the studio.
Dave, you're too hot.
Obviously. But the Yeah, it's the lights, Cat. I'm pretty sure it's all the lights. Cool.
All right, what else we got?
Mike G says, nice tip for cheap minis. Search D&D Attack Wing on eBay. Sometimes a good deal on lots. Sure, they are pre-painted, but they take primer and paint just fine.
Painting studios. Dave is such a wonderful ambassador to the painting hobby. He's clean cut, has a nice accent, and has a Cruella de Vil gray streak in his hair.
Check it. There we go.
It is. That's really cool, actually.
Yep. Off camera, I do collect Dalmatians, just so everybody knows. If you want to send me your Dalmatian, please.
You can have my neighbors.
Yeah?
They're really hyper.
Okay. Maybe I don't collect Dalmatians. Maybe I'll change my mind there.
No, I love my neighbor's dog.
Okay. So Gary, when you painted your copper dragon, what color did you do the membranes on the wings? Did you do those copper as well? How do people think I should paint the membranes on this one? Purple. Purple. Is that your suggestion or somebody else's? Mine. Okay. So this is why I asked. That's why I asked the chat on this one.
I am the chat.
Leona, just kind of control the computer a little bit here.
My goodness.
Someone says Byron said the only good dragon is a gold dragon.
Right.
Copper with the teal tarnish look.
Okay. We can definitely do that. I'm going to get its base color down, let that dry, and then dry brush.
I just want to make sure my dragon doesn't end up looking like Barney. I realized when I was doing purple and green, I was like, oh man, this could go very Barney-ish in a moment. I'm not careful.
It's lucky you didn't paint this guy over here, the hefty one. He would have definitely looked like that. So, excellent. No.
All right. Are all metallic dragons good and solids are evil?
I don't know. That's something about that sounds familiar, but it has been a long time since I've looked into the lore of D&D dragons. Well, it can't be completely correct. The Tiamat, is that the chromatic dragon?
Yeah, I think so.
Or the chrome dragon? Chromatic dragon? I don't know. I thought Tiamat had a metallic sort of angle, but I don't know. I think it's all perspective, really. Like a great deal of morality. Depends on where you stand.
You can't judge a dragon by its color.
This is true.
Or its cover, or something like that.
Same thing. Same thing.
So greenish gray membrane.
Greenish gray membranes.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can do that. Yeah, if I did like a rich copper kind of look.
Let's see, I've got votes for teal tarnish, tan khaki, verdigris.
Verdigris, yeah.
Verdigris. Greenish gray. So Jason says in D&D, metallics are good, chromatic is evil.
Oh, okay. I think when I was growing up and I heard chromatic, I immediately thought like chrome, so I thought it must have been a metallic.
Oh, gotcha.
But now, 40 years later, I may have been wrong. Shh,
Now, do they make iridescent paint? Like,
Yeah.
could you have an iridescent dragon?
Yep. There's a company called, I think it's Green Stuff Industries, do a color shift paint.
Ooh.
So a lot like color shift acrylic paint, a lot like the color shift for cars.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I can make my dragon match my car.
the color shift, that's sweet. Nice.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, you could if you wanted to.
I wish I had a color.
So.
If I had one, I could make my dragon match.
Yep.
See, that's how I would die, would be via iridescent dragon. I'd be like, it's so pretty, and then stand there and get crushed.
Get crushed by it. Get eaten, burnt.
Yeah.
That's the problem with the color shift dragon. You don't know what breath weapon you're going to get next. I guess it's one of the problems.
So the black dragon Dave is painting, do the membranes go all the way down the tail?
They do. We were just talking about that. So yeah, they go all the way down here, and you can see all the way to the tip, which is pretty crazy. So I think it just looks a little bit black on the screen, but actually hitting this with tinny tin, which would be a great base color for the hammered copper that I'm going to use to dry brush it. But at the moment, slapping all the paint on, not worrying too much about where it goes over onto those membranes. And of course you get to a point where it's like, I have to touch one of the areas I've already painted.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to finish that model in the hour, aren't you?
Maybe.
Maybe.
See, Kelly is asking where the dragon's from. They're from Wizkids. It's the Wave 8, I believe.
Yep, Wave 8 from Nolzo's Marvelous Miniatures.
And
Wave
these
8.
are out in
I think it's July.
July, yeah.
Yep. So these are a few of the sort of the pre-production minis that we got through from Justin and the team at Wizkids to show them off. A bit of a first look. And they are really beautiful. Some great texture on there. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to put him.
That's like cool.
Yep. I'm just going to put him aside for a sec. And then move on to some dry brushing.
Barney colors are okay if you add some bloody body bits.
Oh, right, okay, yes.
That's okay if it's Barney. It's just got to be bloody Barney.
Peter says, good day all. Been forever since I could drop in on your streams. Hope you're all well. We are well, Pete. We are well. We're painting dragons. What can be wrong with that?
Yes.
All good. Okay. I'm actually, for the green dragon, I'm going to go back and a little bit of dry brushing now on him. Bring him back into shot. With some Moot Green from Genevieve. It's a really nice, bright, sort of super bright green. Check that out.
Oh, wow.
Not quite fluorescent, but
It's like ooze.
it's not far from it. It is like ooze. But, it's like a
It's like Nickelodeon slime.
Nickelodeon slime. It's kind of like that. There's Nickelodeon slime is a good. What was I going to do? I was going to suggest maybe it was a little bit like Slimer from Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it's going to pick up nice and easily on this texture. So I think that's going to be my painting today. Is just going to be that the paint and dry brush. But that's fine. I'll leave these for Rick and Gretchen to finish off on Thursday.
Oh, that's a good idea. Jason said that that green would be good for acid pools.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's great.
Do you guys want to see some minis? I actually did grab some.
Yeah.
You're gonna got some. I was just gonna finish off saying that I won't be here on Thursday because I'm off to Adepticon. Yep, off to Adepticon tomorrow. Be having a lot of fun, hanging out with my buddy Mel Booze. We're currently,
Mel Booze.
not Mel Booze,
Not Mel Booze.
Mel Booze and Booze. There might be some of that involved. I say might, knowing full well there will be. But yeah, we're kickstarting a book at the moment. Mel is the terrain tutor, and he's writing a book, publishing it with him. So we're going to be heading to Adepticon and talking a lot about terrain and hanging out with folks and having a lot of fun. And on Saturday night, I'm going to be helping judge the crystal brush painting competition.
Oh, very cool.
Which I'm pretty stoked about too. That'd be great. That's the one that has a $10,000 first prize,
What?
first place prize, which is pretty insane. I'm not sure if I want that level of responsibility. But thankfully, there's a team of judges that are involved.
It's all on you.
It's amazing. But yeah, so we'll have Rick and Gretchen on Thursday. Then finish this off. But as Leona suggested, we should go and have a look at some cool photos from the Painting Heavily Minis Facebook group.
Oh, look how cute.
Oh, Leona. The minis are beautiful.
It's by Steve.
By Steve? Steve Hasselbaker?
Hasselbaker, yeah.
Cool, excellent. So, nice work, Steve. Very cool. The mouseling is super cool. No, I'm sure everybody loves the mouseling first, right? Kelly's Hero Forge Half Dragon.
Oh, wow.
It's kind of like a Dragonborn kind of thing. But we were talking about the 3D printed minis. So Hero Forge are one of the companies that does that.
Interesting. That's cool.
Oh, very neat. Nicely done, Kelly. Oh, speaking of 3D printing as well, Rob Zakaluk is in Australia and has been doing a lot of 3D printing lately, building up a huge sort of collection of stuff for Fallout Wasteland Warfare
Oh, wow.
by
Okay, that makes
Modifius.
sense.
And yeah, that one looks great, and an excellent sort of crushed ute. Very nice. Krishine. Excellent. Painting up some Star Wars Legion.
I love the grass stuff on the bases. I love those things. Like, I was really sad that day that I was sick and you guys were doing those.
Doing the basing.
Like, look at how much like detailing, and it just it makes it look so
It adds so much
vibrant.
extra depth to it, doesn't it? Gives that extra level of
amazing.
realism.
Great job, Chris.
No, nice stuff. I love that yellow stripe too. Looking good. Enrique Lasada. Wow.
Yeah, fire.
Amazing.
Well, it's like I like how he painted the like the sheen off the fire onto the rock.
Yep. Yep. He's got
You
some
see
great
the
work going on
glow.
the skull as well up on the face. So this is the Master of Possession from the Shadow Spear box set. That was one that we were painting. Was that 2 weeks ago? No. Last week? I can't remember anymore.
What year is it?
What year is it? But yeah, painting recently. But no, beautiful job, Enrique. Looks excellent. Oh, Josh has been painting, just Josh from Mini Painting Studio, painting the Flower Knight from Kingdom Death.
Oh, that's really cool looking.
Yeah, beautiful model. And yeah, I love the way the two, basically the two different greens, the blue green on the clothing and the more vibrant, paler green of the flowers.
It makes the draping really come out.
Yeah, yeah. Nice job, Josh. Very cool. Oh, Jeff Lee. And this awesome snail.
Cute and scary.
Do you know where this one's from, Leona? Oh, Jeff. We need to know. It does look very cool. nicely done. The shell has a really nice sheen to it. Looks good. Very cool.
Yeah, I don't think he said.
Okay. No worries.
Wow.
And the next model.
Sorry. You got me distracted.
Oh yeah. Yep. Kevin said, yeah,
Oh, nice.
I posted this, I think this morning. But, yep, I think he used we were talking about the Nighthaunt, or the
Oh,
Hexwraith Flame. He's got a pot of that in the background I can see there.
Oh, yeah.
That's the green pot there. But yeah, it worked out really nicely. And I think it's got a little bit of green, sort of green glow hitting the boots and the lower part of the tunic there. Nice job, Kevin. Oh, and Chris Gorka has also painted a Master of Possession from Shadow Spear and done a not completely, but a very different job there, going with the
Green flames.
green flames, working well against the red armor. And then that, I'm not sure if you can quite see it there, the lava base,
Oh, yeah.
that bright yellow and orange.
That's really cool. I like the color gradients on it.
Yeah. It looks great. Yeah, that green fire, that sort of ethereal feel to it, looks really nice, Chris. Good job. Oh, and some minis by me. Woohoo!
That McGonagall is
Yeah.
so awesome.
All of these minis were they're just so wonderfully sculpted, and I think because the costuming is all very bold and bright, it just made the paint jobs really, really super easy. Like Snape took like half an hour.
What?
I know. I was expecting longer. But even somebody like Lockhart in his outfit there, that only took maybe 45 minutes. Because it's really it's two colors.
So simple.
It's just very simple.
Yeah.
Very simple. Not a lot of extra detail, but I mean all the details in the folds of that clothing, and yep, beautiful minis. Excellent.
I love when minis are very here is where the clothes end. Here is where this ends. Because if not, I'm like, wait, is that his butt? Is that a piece of clothing? What color is that supposed to be?
Yeah, yeah. It does. It definitely does speed up your your choices when you have very clearly defined models, and the sculpts on those Harry Potter models are just fantastic. Okay, a little bit more green and some yellow mixed in, and maybe a little bit of white.
Dave, you need to do the green dragon's wings and make them look transparent. How could you do that?
That's a really good question. I don't know. I'll think about that one. I think it'd probably might start with a pale gray, up to white. But I might need to add some tinges of green in around the edges, so as if the light's reflecting off the green fingers, kind of thing, or the bones of the thing, and reflecting onto that sort of transparent, mildly translucent membrane.
Huh.
Somehow, something like that. I'd have to look at some reference photos of.
Yeah, I feel like trying to make something look transparent would be hard.
Yeah. Yep, definitely hard. It's easier when there's when you'd be doing it like something else behind it. So like very thin, almost sheer clothing.
Okay.
That kind of thing. But you've got the flesh behind it, and so you're just really you've got that color behind it, and sometimes it might also almost become like a textural thing. Okay. I think I might leave that guy as is. You can see all the texture in here on the skin.
So I'm painting Here, you want to show?
Oh, yeah.
They were asking what I was painting.
Okay, great.
Kind of show the dragon that I was painting.
Here we go.
Byron was asking. I'm not too sure the specific type of dragon.
Well, it's a purple dragon now. But yeah, I don't think we got these in the packages. So, pretty much the pre-production run.
Well,
But yeah,
and even their listing, they just list them by their color.
Right.
So they don't actually have them listed as a type of dragon.
Oh, got it.
Well, I
There's
mean,
blue dragon, green dragon.
well, that is the type of dragon, isn't it?
Oh,
I thought that was.
never mind.
But rather than like Hungarian horntail.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Right.
I guess I'm just.
No, I think for D&D, it's all done by
I'm not
The
in
color.
D&D
the
lore.
color. Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Okay, I'll pop this guy in. Nope.
See, I think my hard time with dragons is I paint them one color, and then I'm like, okay, so how do you make gradients within the red to pop it where it doesn't look like one flat red color?
Right. Well, one cool thing that you can try is think of what the color opposite on the color wheel. Mm-hmm. So, for example, red is opposite green. So you can go with a like a desaturated green,
Okay.
go like a darker green, and use that as your shade.
Oh, gotcha.
There's a
So just varying shades of the color to bring out different parts.
yeah. Instead of using dark red or dark, sort of just adding black into red to get the shade by mixing a little bit of dark green as well. It just adds that extra level of depth. The same can be done for like a bright green here. So obviously go back in and shade like under the arms and some of the musculature there. I could use a dark red as well.
Oh, gotcha.
So you still want to have the same tonal, same tonal sort of level that you'd be using, but just switch the color up. Okie dokie. Are we ready? Ready for the copper dragon?
There we go.
There we go. Okay. Now for this, I'm grabbing some hammered copper. Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
You're right. No worries. Can't really see it. It's right down the bottom here. Hammered copper from the game color range. I really like using hammered copper as a base color for the golds, for most of my golds. I do that, but there we go. Almost immediately on that texture on the arm, the shoulder.
Oh, wow.
It's picking that up really well. Good choice, Gary. Might just quickly do it down this side and then try another highlight with brassy brass. See how that looks. And of course, this dry brushing stage. I love it. So quick. What's somebody else saying there?
See, making it pop.
Yep.
Yeah, both D&D and Pathfinder color equals type.
Cool. Learn something new every day. You should see the look Leona's giving me right now. It's not pleasant. Of course, I said I was going to stop and do a highlight, but instead I'm actually just going to finish all the dry brushing. And of course, the great thing about dry brushing is that not only does it capture all that texture, is that when you're finished sort of doing the dry brushing, essentially your model is sort of dry and ready to go on to the next step. You don't have to wait for the paint to dry.
Put some depth into these wings.
Hmm?
Trying to put some depth into these wings.
Oh yeah, around the edges.
Yep.
Cool.
And it's like I'm always careful with like the edging, because I'm
Yeah.
like I'm so worried that if I overdo it, it's just gonna look shell shaded or cell shaded.
Cell shaded? Okay. Well, actually, there are quite a few people around who are messing around with the whole cell shaded approach, or the I guess more really a comic book style approach.
Yeah.
My buddy Mike Cousins from Canada, who's streams as Epic Duck Studios, has been doing most of the stuff he's been painting actually over the last year has been that sort of comic book style.
Okay.
It looks fantastic. It looks really, really good. He's got it sort of down to a technique where it isn't just, it has to be viewed from one angle. It can be viewed from multiple angles and it still looks good. So, he's actually teaching some classes at Adepticon about it.
No, I guess it's not such a bad thing then.
Nope. There are people who want to pay money to find out how to do it.
Except I do it on accident, so I don't really think I can.
Well, if you practice it for a bit,
Yeah.
like, make it your own style, then you can charge money to teach people how to do it.
I'm like, I just do that on accident.
Okay. Slide this out of the way.
Dave, will you have your book at Adepticon for sale?
Yeah, my book will be for sale at Adepticon. It'll be there with Wing to Sar Publishing, and I think Michigan Toy Soldier Company. So both of those booths, one of them's in the vendor hall, one of them's outside near registration. When I say outside, I mean outside of the vendor hall. But yeah, it'll be available there, which will be very cool.
Go get his book.
It's very exciting.
Amazing.
We have to wander around a convention and go, oh, check it out. Okay. So use this brassy brass to pick out a few spots. Actually, one thing I was just thinking, if you wanted to do like a brass or a copper dragon with a lot of the verdigris kind of feel, a lot of the tarnishing, you can actually paint the model green first, paint it that tarnished green, and then dry brush the metallics up over it. So there we go. Try to pick out some of the highlights on the face first. I think that's the other cool thing is all the dragon heads are all very different.
They all have unique personalities.
They do.
It's just like the ones in Harry Potter, you know? You know, which one do you want to have to fight against?
Honestly, none of them, but
Yeah.
Certainly not the Horntail. My daughter and I are now up to book 5,
Oh my gosh.
Order of the Phoenix. So
Nice.
pretty excited about that.
Oh, am I supposed to be keeping track of time?
Oh, are we?
It is 3 o'clock.
Oh, we're at 3 o'clock? Oh, we started a little bit late.
Okay.
We started
Okay,
a little
cool.
late.
All
We
right.
can go a little bit further. So, okay.
All right. I was like, am I supposed to be keeping track of this? Don't put me in charge of things.
No.
Oh, God.
Leona will keep us on task. So there we go. That's how it can look on those shoulder. in the face. Now, I have a color in here that I really like using for verdigris, which is the Panzer Aces USMC, so United States Marine Corps Tank Crew. It's kind of like a sea green, seafoam green. I don't know what to it, but get a little bit of that. And I hope it's in here. Is it? Yep, there it is. When I was talking about using the dark green to shade reds, this color is great for that. It's a color called Coal Black from the P3 range. Because it's not actually black, but it's a really dark, deep sort of blue-green.
Okay.
And desaturated, and it's really nice for putting over reds, or shading reds with, basically. I'll get a little bit of it out. You can see it there on the palette. Get some water, mix that in with the Tank Crew green. You can see how sort of thin I'm making that. So now I can start painting that into over the scales. It's a great one to give that just like a really immediate feeling of that tarnish. If you didn't want it on tops of some of those, you can just rub that off with your finger sort of straight away. So there we go. I think it'd probably be good to do a really bright sort of green tongue on this copper dragon.
Oh, that'd be cool. I did mine pink. Just
quickly to everyone in the chat, copper dragons, what kind of breath weapon do they have?
Let's see who knows.
Anybody know? I feel like people in the chat are going to know. There we go.
They have two.
Two? Oh, a choice of two? What do they have?
Let's see, what do they got, Jason?
What is it, Jason? Oh.
It says they have two. Acid, someone said acid.
Okay.
Metal flame.
Metal flame?
Is that like...
Wow.
Is that like liquid metal?
I wonder if it's like Rammstein. I don't know if you've ever been to a Rammstein show. Rammstein shows, they always set themselves on fire. They set everything on fire, really.
See, yeah. Jason says slow and acid.
Okay.
All right.
So I think with that acid idea, we could get away with that bright green tongue.
About a minute.
All right.
Okay, about a minute to go.
So I guess I'll show off mine here.
Yep, that would be cool. Do we?
Sorry, for some reason the spinner is not working.
The spin the camera? Okay.
Oh, okay, so I guess I will give it this to you.
Yep. I'll take that out of the way. There we go. So we have I'm just going to take him off the base actually for a sec.
Yeah. Oh, I see the white spots.
Yeah.
But I try to put like some dimension and color in the wings.
Yep. You can see it around the shading around here.
And I mix some of the alien purple with a little bit of the scar tissue to get kind of like a pink to highlight the...
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
on the tongue.
And then to also highlight on like the ridges.
Oh yeah, yep. Around here on the edges. Very cool.
And if I probably
Nicely
had
done.
some black, I'd probably go through and do all the like
Do
shading.
some lining.
Yeah.
I think if you ran some black and purple mixed down along the edges of the, basically where the scales meet the flesh there, that you've got really great pop with that, the highlighting you've done there.
Yeah.
Yep. Nice. Excellent.
Yay.
Cool. So we've had that guy going around up there for a little bit, but now that this is dried, you can see on there or it's dry. It's almost dried, but yeah, there's that verdigris kind of feel. There's knocked down the brightness on the copper, the brass, bronze kind of look.
It really does look like it's been like oxidized, you know?
Yep. Yep. I like that. I think it's good. And it's really quick to do. As you saw, it's just mixing those two paints and thinning it down, running it over. So.
See, I think that's something that I
Excellent.
always forget is the fact that you can like water down the paints and get like, you know, it doesn't have to be so opaque. I
Yep.
always forget that. I'm like, why is it so dark? I don't, Because then you said that you're
that's
like,
right.
water it down. I was like, oh, dang it.
I think it's because a lot of the shows that we've done, I haven't done a lot of washes because washes take time to dry. But when we do these shows where it's almost like we give ourselves an extra hour by continuing on Thursday, it's a little bit easier to do that then.
All right, so Carl gave us the definitive answer.
Okay.
From the SRD, a copper dragon has 2 types of breath weapon, a line of acid and a cone of slow gas. Creatures within the cone must succeed on a fortitude save or be slowed for 1d6 rounds plus 1 damage per age category of the dragon.
Okay.
And then Kelly said, don't forget they love eating enormous scorpions and other venomous creatures.
Okay, cool. So it could spit scorpions, or at least scorpion tails. That'd be great. Excellent. Cool. Leona says wrap it up.
We got our get off the air sign.
I'm just going to paint this for another couple of minutes.
I know I can see.
Yeah.
Leona's like, I have the button to shut it off.
Okay, so before Leona does shut us off midstream, we'd just like to say thank you to everybody for joining us today. I hope you've enjoyed this first look at some of the little dragons that are coming from Wizkids, from the Nolzur's Marvelous Minis range. Wave 8, is that right?
Yep.
Coming in July.
Yes.
Excellent. And where will people be able to get these?
At your local, friendly local game store.
Yay! Which is where everybody should go and hang out and
Meet
meet people, become part of the
friends,
community,
yeah.
sit down, do some painting with them, and have fun. Cool. Okay, so thanks for joining us. I'm Dave,
I'm Mia.
and we'll see you at the game store.
Thanks for watching Painting Happy Little Minis. If you liked it, leave a like and a comment below, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any new content.